All right, thank you. So, what is the gathering of tribes? And I love that some people felt challenged by this idea of which tribe do you belong to, because in a way, this is actually one of the things of the gathering of tribes is about. It's an invitation for us to think of who do we belong, where do we belong to, and what does even this belonging mean, right? You know, in a way, there's this idea of your biggest life trauma is your biggest driver in life. And I don't know if it's my biggest life trauma, but I probably, like many of you, have lived in many places and have for many years, now I've gotten over it, but for many years have resented this question of where are you from, right? With the expectation that you will identify with a nation state, probably of your birth, as though that was defining of your whole existence as an adult human being on this earth. And you know, I associate with my country of birth, but I also associate with many other places. And then, like, why should it be this place which was not of your choosing? And what would it mean to actually have a meaningful sense of connection with a tribe? Because I think we all need a sense of belonging to some group. And for me, the idea of a tribe, it's a group which is big enough that it's bigger than me. The tribe will continue if I don't exist. At the same time, it's small enough that I feel I can have an impact. I feel that my contribution can make a difference, that my leadership can make a difference. So one of the things that the Gathering of Tribes is an invitation to inquire of, you know, where do you belong? And it's completely open. It's not a test, and it's for all of us to decide which is the tribe, and what does it mean, you know. For us as the organizers, if you say you're part of tribe XYZ and tribe XYZ is coming to the gathering, we say great. And it can be a community on the internet, it can be a village, it can be a DAO, it can be a company. There's so many different entities and types of organizations that are coming into being in this regenerative space. And for me, actually, one of the exciting things is that in the regenerative world, we're discovering so many newer ways to organize and collaborate than just companies, cooperatives, and the old system. And I really dream of the Gathering of Tribes being a summit, a festival, a gathering, which is transformative for tribes. There's many festivals in the world which are transformative for individuals, and it's beautiful. We need those. But my inquiry is, how do we create a event, a summit, which is transformative for tribes? When if a tribe comes and makes a camp or comes to the gathering, it becomes stronger. Stronger internally, the bonds become stronger, stronger externally, in that it's more recognized. I really see the regenerative ecosystem as this beautiful emerging, these little seedlings everywhere of different organizations. And I want to support these seedlings to grow and build the mycelium between them, so they interconnect. So kind of our vision statement is to catalyze the emergence of a regenerative ecosystem of collaboration. And the way we envision this is by creating an event which is very much bottom-up, co-created, where by all of the participants. In 1999, for the first time, I went to Burning Man, and I got very inspired by this idea and the possibility of creating something big and amazing completely by creating a culture of co-creation, not through top-down program and planning, but just creating a playground. You know, this is one way I think of the gathering. We're creating a playground, we're inviting amazing people, but what games you play, we play, it's for everybody to figure out together. So yeah, this is kind of this is kind of the idea. And then what I really dream of is creating a festival whose culture is connecting for action. Yes, we come together, we celebrate, we meet, but the real question is, what is the action that comes out of it? And I would love, we'd love, it's a question to all of us. There will be an app which kind of supports the emergence and a real-time changing live schedule, but also I'm thinking of how can we create an app which supports this connection and then supports the follow-up. So then the last thing maybe, yeah, please write questions in the chat if you have them. The last thing that I wanted to share is we're really looking at the wider regenerative ecosystem because it's the regenerative space is emerging in so many different directions, from regenerative agriculture, of course, regenerative villages, regenerative tourism, regenerative communications. There is so many of these different aspects, and they're all related to something around them. If nothing else, the big epiphany I've come to this year, if you want to do any kind of a regenerative project, if your outcome is aimed to be regenerative, you need to be a regenerative organization. You know, I don't believe you can create a regenerative village from this startup burnout hustle culture. So for sure, at least we share that. I think there is aspects around spirituality and such which underpin the whole regenerative space. So yeah, we really want to bring in people from a wide variety of areas. And I think it's only through the different people in the different areas talking together that we'll be able to create the more beautiful regenerative society that we dream of. Audrey, maybe you can add some things and some things on the practicals.
Sure. So kind of in response to your question, Barbara, about where we are at and the progress we've made. So we're still on the lookout for the perfect land to host the gathering. That's why Bruno is here. Yeah, we've been basically turning every stone that we knew about in Portugal. So yeah, I feel like we're getting closer to the goal, but slowly, and we want to make sure the land that hosts the gathering is really aligned, and that the team and the land stewards are as well, right? It's a very important aspect of the nature that we're going to be surrounded with, and the people who hold the place. So that's one thing. And then, so we are right now working with all of you guys and the wider regenerative community in Europe and internationally to basically spread the word, start to really share this concept, this vision, and our missions with with the whole ecosystem, as Victor just showed, really looking at many different areas of what we call regeneration, which obviously has a lot of definitions today. And I mean, it's one thing that we're working on with Simon as well. Yeah, we're really also moving forward quite a lot now with the more practical details, logistics. So basically, how will we support you guys and all the camp builders to basically have a smooth experience throughout? So from the pre-gathering, which is basically the incubation and onboarding period, which will take place more or less between January and August, through to the gathering itself, right? But also after the gathering. So we understand that it's very important and even essential to build a culture that comes together with the event. And this doesn't happen in 4 days or 5 days, even if we wanted to. And that's why we're here today in November, right? 10 months ahead of the gathering. It's actually not that long. We don't have that much time. And to build this culture of transparency, of community building, of cooperation, and many more values, we need to get started right now. So yeah. And then, I mean, I can answer, many more specific questions about camp building and the how and the why and so on. But yeah, you guys go for it. And hi, Manuel. Welcome. And hi, Heinrich.
So, questions?
I have one. Are we going to start we discussed that idea of starting the gathering in January and taking a more regenerative approach to time. Is that something that we're going to experience? Is there any update? Do you have an overview of what that's going to look like? Thank you, Audrey.
Thank you. Should I take it? I can. Yeah, so the pre-gathering is the current standing name. Maybe we'll find something more catchy at some point. But yes, it's very much still the plan, Barbara, to start in January. I would say what we're doing right now for me is already starting and is already the pre-gathering, as I said. So the way we envision it right now, the pre-gathering is going to be made up of different moving parts. There will be online meetings that will be specifically focused on camp building. And this will be basically open space where we try to break the dynamic and the top-down approach of me and Victor are the organizers and we come and tell you how to build a camp. Instead of doing that, we really want to build experienced camp builders, either people who have been at the 22 gathering or people who have experienced building a camp. And I don't necessarily mean the physical building, right? I mean, really the development of your concept as a camp in the events through other events, right? Whether it's Burning Man, there's many spaces on the planet that have experimented with this concept. So this will be one thing. There is something else which Simon, who is here today, is working with us on. Thank you, Simon, for all your support, which is what I had mentioned to you, Barbara, also, which was those sessions that we wish to be focused on regenerative themes. So we really want to open spaces for the entire ecosystem globally to address those questions, to potentially ask more questions, and to come up with answers, maybe not, but really diving deeper and going into much more depth, right, on each one of those themes. So I'm talking here about regenerative agriculture, regenerative media and communications, eco villages, community building, art, so on and so forth, right? All of you have one foot in one or more of those areas. Again, in the spirit of co-creation and bottom-up approach, what we want to do instead of holding those spaces and facilitating them is extend an invitation to the people who are already in those spaces. So all of you, basically, right? So we very much see our role as we define the frame, we hold this so that you can go and play within. So those are two elements, and then we will hold a Q&A session and support groups basically to really walk you through this whole process of building a camp again. So this will be sessions more specifically with us, and it's basically about helping you really from building your budget to how do I send out invitation to my tribe, what email do I write, can you help with design, like the very basic things that at the end of the day can weigh on people, and it doesn't have to be that way, right? So we're developing packages and information documents to really support you with that. Am I forgetting anything? Those are the three I'm thinking about right now.
I think so. I think the other thing which is slowly emerging is, like I say, we're building a playground, bringing lots of great people together. If you have games to propose for people to play, there's a community on Discord. We'll be sending stuff out. And something that I didn't talk about, but I really see the gathering of tribes as being a place where people showcase and work on their livelihood. So listing in the newsletter people's regenerative services and things like this. Let's see how it evolves. If you have ideas of what would make sense and what would give you joy and what would be energetic for you to make happen beforehand, let's do it. It's a grand experiment, right?
So I have a question. What are you guys expecting from a camp, right? So I have my project, I bring my people over, and we create this sort of camp. Like, what are you expecting us to bring to the gathering?
Positive energy. I mean, we are in early stages and building this culture. So it's an experiment. I think a camp can be 5, 10 tents in a circle, right? You know, some people are coming from the Americas, and for them, it's much less practical to produce something big. Through the app, people will be able to share their program. So I think it's about everybody. At the same time, I do hope, and we're especially starting from January, we're going to be looking and talking to companies and corporations that have more of a budget and can produce a bigger tent, a space for meetings, or a stage for concerts, etc. But everybody brings what they are able to. And it's, I think it's bring your questions, be open to learn, connect with the culture. And I think everything that you can do that's little, that's more or less. And actually, for me, the key thing is that rather than asking what we expect of you, I ask you, how can the gathering be of service and of value to your tribe? What can you do that will be meaningful, and you're like, yes, this is giving value to my tribe, to my organization. Does that make sense?
And if I may complement that with the, as ever, more practical Audrey stuff, maybe maybe this is useful. If you can see my screen, can everyone see this?
Yes, thank you.
Great. Okay, this might be useful manual. So this is just a very quick overview of the roles and responsibilities. And you can see here the breakdown between the camps and what we call here the Gathering of Tribes team, so the organization team. Pre-gathering, gathering, and post-gathering. So if we just look at this part, for example, I mean, for you, it's really, again, as Victor was saying, to bring your content, right? To bring whatever will make sense for you and whatever will feed and nourish your existing project, initiative, and yourself as individual as well. What we take care of is this, right? So we take care of, well, communications, what we're doing now, camp building support, the ticket sales, the land, the organization of volunteers, and then on the land, this is what you don't need to worry about. The land itself, fire, water, sanitation, insurances, licenses, and general shared spaces, basically, if that helps.
Great. Henrik, you have your hand raised.
Yeah. Are you setting a boundary around the physical place coming together, or are you intending to weave different physical places together? I'm coming from the Utopia conference in Germany 2 years ago, because of COVID, had the main event in Lüneburg, and then there were, I think, almost 30 local events all around Germany. They're doing their own program, but had a moment where they were woven into the whole thing. And when I think, for me, like travel and coming together in capacity, but if it's about really like, how do I energize my tribe, they're all over the place. But if they're like local hubs that could be woven in together, that would make it. I loved it. It was way more planning, and how to do that elegantly takes some work. And there was more hosting involved versus like Burning Man, we go all and we do stuff, right? That I don't think that would work. And so I don't know where the boundary is in your sense making is right now, or if that's a possibility to invite that or not.
I see that pattern, and the way I envision inviting it is the gathering is a physical place where we gather, but of course, not everybody from every tribe will come, right? And the Burning Man has this beautiful tradition of decompression, where people go back to their home and organize an event. So this is where there was the post gathering that Audrey hoped. And that's where my hope is. So people come to this physical place, they get energized, they get inspired, and then they go back to their homes. And actually, if it looks like the gathering will be 11th to 15th in September, we haven't made a contract with the land, so it might shift 1 week or another. But it's the start to mid-September. So that means fall equinox is after that, 23rd. So I'm thinking of inviting all of the tribes to then organize a fall equinox gathering in their homes, in their locations, where you would have this distributed thing. And I would love connecting with the how do we have follow-up actions. I would love that event to be of people said, oh, we went to the gathering. These are the different connections we made, the promises of follow-up that we did. This is what we learned. So this is how I would love to invite it.
Mm. Mm. Yeah.
And then we have the benefit, because I've been in people that have tried to do hybrid events. And actually, this is a good question. I mean, we're not going to be organizing it, but if some of the bigger camps want to organize live streaming for some of the things they do and stuff, that would be cool. But in general, there is value in being co-present. And then I think this way we can have our cake and eat it too, because we can be co-present during the event, and then we can have the distributed version that's much more widely. And some people might just make a dinner, some people might make an online thing with their tribe, and then it's just a smorgasbord of whoever wants to do whatever post-gathering that makes sense for them. Cool.
I have a question. Thank you for sharing that. I would love to hear how we can support the Gathering the Tribes team. I'm hearing a lot of support that y'all are pouring into us and the tribes. So thank you. And I'm really coming from a lens of storytelling. This is an incredibly beautiful story. And how can we help assist you in sharing this story? Are y'all open, to receiving support in that way? And what can we support you with in that realm?
We would love help and support in this storytelling. So I think probably the bestest thing is maybe we have a separate call, you, me, and Audrey, and see, how it fits in. Again, I really want everything to be win-win. So it's also part of your flow, and yeah.
Beautiful. That sounds great. Thank you.
For example, we got amazing support. Let's not forget gratitude. The first gathering, Barbara from the Weave magazine did a beautiful special on it. So yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, and I would add, because of the nature of the event and because we see ourselves as part, right? Like we're really all at the same level in the creation of the event. By being here and by willing to join and build a camp and activating the community and then generating whatever contents you will generate from it, this is already helping, right? If it's helping the gathering, then it's helping me, and it's helping Francesca, and it's helping every single person who's in the room. So yeah, but also definitely take you up on the storytelling.
Beautiful. Thank you.
Wonderful. Other questions?
So yeah, I have a question. Sorry guys, I got in later, so I don't know if it was answered already or not. But do you have a spot defined already?
We're looking for one.
Okay, all right.
We have
Okay, just
Bruno here who I'm speaking to about this. But yeah, I was saying at the start of the call, I've been trying to turn every stone in Portugal, and we haven't found the perfect place yet. So definitely open to speaking to anyone.
And maybe since you're well rooted, by the way, if you guys don't know, Manuel is doing an amazing regenerative village project, probably the biggest and most impressive one in Portugal right now.
thank you.
So yeah, maybe if you have some bandwidth, maybe Audrey can share who we're talking to now, and you can see if you can have other suggestions for us.
Okay, all right. I'll get to thinking about it.
Also,
But
sorry.
what was the problem? What would be the issue in repeating the place of 2022?
No events are happening at this land anymore. It's only
Okay.
I mean, more
reforestation and
fundamentally, in 2024, our goal is to grow to 1,000 people, and that land would not support 1,000 people.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it wouldn't. Okay, so land for 1,000 people. All right. I'll get to thinking about if I have some suggestion I can throw your way.
Other thoughts?
Hi, how's everybody? I'm like loving this conversation. It's pouring down. I'm still not home. I'm listening and taking notes. I have, I could tell you about my project and the land and all this stuff, but what I really want to know is how we can create a bigger impact. Because what I'm seeing around right now is a lot of distance. People aren't looking at each other anymore. There's no love. There's no care. There's no communication. And I worry for the kids, the next generation. I want to try and make a better world for the future generations. So yeah, what's your global impact plan if you have one? Thank you.
I mean, for us, what I see as the most important part for the gathering is to really figure out how to build this culture of connecting for action. I really want to figure out how to get, yes, amazing conversation, yes, celebration, yes, getting energy from each other. But I really want to create a culture where everybody says, hi, this is who I am. This is the tribe I'm from. This is what I need. This is my questions. This is what I can offer. And really create this culture that sharing your needs is actually a gift. Many people don't realize this, that asking for help, sharing your needs is actually a great gift, because it gives somebody the option of connecting with you meaningfully, either and giving you something, right? And actually receiving is a gift. Maybe this can be our tagline. So that's what I can see in our context. And I love that you mentioned children and the next generation, because we haven't done outreach in that area, but I'd really love to bring in a good representation of the future of learning world. I don't know if it identifies itself so much as regenerative education, but the whole self-directed learning, unschooling, that whole universe, I spent a little bit of time reading and studying it, which is really beautiful. I would love to have tribes and representatives from that ecosystem as well, because it's crucial.
Yeah, and I would add, I mean, the gathering is really designed as a multiplier event, right? So it has potential for impact in that it is touching 300 projects or 400 or 500, depending on how many tribes come. And even if it's 70, it's already huge. So if we can together create a space that is actually nourishing for each one of those tribes and individuals, so that they can then take this energy and put it directly back into their projects, then you have achieved much more than through a centralized event, right?
Okay, I guess I guess I can speak a little bit more. I just arrived home. I'm soaking. I still have my coat on, but I guess I have a follow-up on this. Hi everybody. I'm Rita. I have a little bit less booming energy, tiny bit. I still have my coat on. But yeah, I guess if you want to know about asking for help, so I've been building a project. I quit my job of this run 12 years ago. I came back to Portugal. When I saw what was being offered and what was being received in terms of healthcare and social care and mental health, I worked a lot with people with autism, a lot with, I worked with all kinds of people in all kinds of contexts, from 9 months or 6 months old to 90 years of age. That was my work in mainly inside education and through the arts. And then what I saw here was so dramatic that I realized I needed to grow as an artist so I could speak up. So I spent the last 12 years building a project. And it's been a little bit frustrating because I shared it with everybody, and I thought that the 150 friends that I love so dearly would have jumped at the opportunity of making the project that you guys are describing, which is very similar to the project that I have built, because we breathe and we drink from the same fountains. So I have actually the methodology I use, or the method that I named INCARD, because I believe that there is a misconception that we don't do anything in this life. These outsiders,
Oh, did we lose? But as we wait for Rita to reconnect, one thing that's hi, you
I'm
got
back.
interrupted, Rita.
Sorry.
But I wanted to connect with what you said, because it reminded me of something. One way of looking at the gathering of tribes is as a festival of festivals. So the whole camp thing is an experiment. You can have a completely closed camp, which for days is your own private internal retreat for your tribe. That's okay. You can have completely open things which you invite everybody to. I know there is some tribes that are like, well, we were going to do our own festival, but it's too much trouble, so we'll just do your festival at the gathering of tribes. So yeah, and it's a playground, and there can be all kinds of things. So if you have a concept and if you were hoping to do it, but you couldn't gather enough energy, in a lot of ways, this is another way of looking at the gathering of tribes. Is it's an excuse to gather. It's this bigger thing. So hopefully it'll be easier now to gather all of those friends that you weren't able to move for another event.
Perfect, because it seems to me like it's just I have too much energy when I arrive. Like just now, I had actually I've been in meetings today since 9 o'clock in the morning, one after the other, and it's been interesting because it's been very much this. I've been in regenerative groups, and I've been in people that wanted me to work as a finance consultant, or to find them financing, a European, Erasmus Gulbenkian. Well, I guess there's a Portuguese one, but like a EU, whatever, financing to do a volunteer project. Very beautiful project. Am I still here? You disappeared. Oh, perfect. I'm back. So after all this, so I come back to this question is, like there's all these financings, but all the people that I'm talking to that are in this system are so overworked and stressed out that they can't even listen to my ideas, and I just went to have a beautiful therapy where I just processed God, from not being able to be a mother to the death of my father, and these therapists in the next room told us off because we're being too loud. And it doesn't make sense to me that this is the world that we live in, right? So I have a piece of land now. I have a project. This all started with a very small inclusive festival that we built in 1 month, going from one place to another and asking them what their needs, desires, and possibilities were. This is how we built a festival. We built it in 1 month. It was a 2.5 day festival. The same 100 people every day. It wasn't a giant thing. But this is it. This is how it got built. And then I was trying to invite people to join. And so I started with a festival, then that didn't work. So I made the whole project. I wrote a financing project. It's all built. It's written down, right? That wasn't enough. So I got my mother to buy a piece of land in Portugal, and then it got robbed. Like it's just been a ridiculous story, one after the other. And I have all this work, and that wasn't enough. So I threw myself into the world as an artist, and I recorded every process of this. And I realized I've been doing this for over 20 years, and nobody's seen it. So I have all these resources, and I'm just going like, what am I going to do? And then Daniela sent me your link, and you guys are describing my project. So, hi, I'm going to shut up now and tell me
Awesome.
if there's anything
so
that inspires you to
I
help.
think the Gathering of Tribes will be the kind of place where you can find people who will listen to your story. And definitely, it's very much an invitation to bring your festival, your experiments, and try them as a camp. This is I think it is a lot of work to gather people, to get a place, and all of this. And by taking care of the hard stuff, the land, making sure people are fed, making sure that the police is taken care of, I hope will make it much easier for you and for everybody to bring together the tribe that they hope to bring together. Henrik, quickly, and then we can go to a quick checkout.
Yeah, it's practical. Like I heard it, Cedar's question of support with the story, but is there something, as you're like the main fire keepers of this, keeping it going from the last time now here, is there, besides the land, is there any ask you have for the community of like, do you need specific support? Is there any vacancy where it's like, that you can be in your strength as well? Like we're like, you've now worked together since July, I heard. So is there anything that you want to speak towards us where, I don't know, the right people will show up when it's spoken? So yeah.
For me, I think right now is, as Audrey mentioned, land, but that's very specific to people who have wider connections in Portugal. And then it's to come, right? The invitation is we're playing with this invitation for tribes to commit to make a camp or commit to come. And invite your friends, bring your friends to come play.
Yeah, I would second that by saying, as Victor said, right, the event, we're hoping for around 1,000 people. We're not doing advertisement or marketing to the wider public. We're speaking to people and sharing the vision with our words and our energy, and we can't do that for 1,000 people. So what we need is for the beautiful ripple effect to start working, right? I mean, Barbara is doing such a beautiful work building the Regen Comms camp, and many other people are as well. And this is how we will make it happen, right? By having people who take a little bit of leadership at some point within their area of being, of work, and then who kind of get it going, right? Like get the word running all around. This is how it's going to happen. So I would say this is the main thing. You can call it outreach, or you can call it many other things, whatever resonates. But yeah.
Miriam, I think you get the last question.
Yay. Well, I have a very general question. Maybe I just didn't really get it, but what is like, is it defined what kind of tribe, or like can like, you know, like can a group of friends come, or is it, what is like the
It's exactly like I said at the point. It's for you to define.
So I would say the general theme, if you want to say it that way, or the vision is what we call the regenerative ecosystem, which is many things, like from honestly regenerative agriculture to cryptocurrencies to like many things, right? Anything really. Most people who feel like today's system is not really working that well and who had some sort of hope or will to do something different. And yeah, if your tribe is like you and 4 friends as a tribe, like as Victor said, we're no one to define what the tribe is, and it doesn't need to have a legal structure or whatever. It can just be people who have common values and like to share space, and that's already a tribe. Yeah.
okay, cool. Thanks.
So I would like to very much respect the time, and we have 3 minutes left. I see Barbara needs to go. I don't know if we have time energy for asking everybody for a checkout, but we're happy to stay around for another 10, 15 more minutes with Audrey if people have questions, or whoever whoever would like to drop out now and say goodbye. Share your links in the chat if you want, for what's convenient for people to connect. And
I will send a follow-up email to everyone tomorrow morning with the link to this recording, link to all our socials, and anything else you might need.
yeah, and in the meantime, I will send a link here if you're excited to read more to our press kit, which has all of the things that have been written so far. Some Medium posts and stuff that I've written, and yeah.
Thank you, Audrey and Victor. Thank you very much, everyone else.
Thank you,
This
Barbara.
is very exciting. Looking forward to it.
Thanks so much, Barbara. Good job. Bye, Manuel.
I'm gonna head out as well. Thank you all so much, and I'll be in touch. Thank you for this. Much love.
And
Yes,
since you're
thank
still
you.
here, Jean-Marc, I'm going to call on you.
Yes.
Give us something hard. You've been to all of these things. You're a veteran. Come on. I'm tired of this love and peace kumbaya. Come on, challenge us.
Yes. Yeah. Like I mentioned in a comment there, Victor, I'm hoping by 2024 we'll finally have that method to have absolutely anyone take immediate action from gathering in person to knowing with confidence that they're going to see people physically eye to eye and feel comfortable that they can instantaneously reach to this giant regenerative ecosystem and connect to exactly the project they need to be part of, whether that's a housing provider like GeoShip or a village on the other side of the planet. This is the good blessing about AI at the moment. It's really bulldozing a lot of the barriers that we built in digital technology, because we just built silos and we tried to connect them, but AI is really bulldozing a lot of that at the moment, and it's fun to see. So in a year, I think we're going to have some tremendous solutions here, and that's going to mean immediate action.
Are we going to have a GeoShip camp? Am I finally going to see you at the gathering?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, well, we won't be able to have a physical GeoShip. The physical GeoShip is in California right now. In a year's time, we will have the manufacturing up and rocking. And yeah, who knows? I don't know. Maybe we could actually get one over there. We'll see.
Come on, let's do
the
it.
stars align.
Europe,
yeah,
this is the place for European debut.
Yeah, exactly. So if one camp wants to stand up and say, "Hey, actually, we want to build something physical and more permanent," GeoShip is a 500-year-old structure, 500-year lifespan structure. So it needs to be somewhere where it's going to be there forever. So you find a good location for the event.
Bruno, here you go. Are you interested? Like, what do you think?
I'm listening, and I'm expecting your visit to you check if the farm Quinta Paz Paz have all the requirements to make it happen. And I'm enjoying a lot what I'm listening, and it's perfectly aligned with my vision and intentions and with the cares that I have been having in here in Quinta Paz Paz. It's a recent project, but it's full power, fast and furious in many actions. And I'm expecting your visit, and let's see together. But I'm really open, and I hope that could happen here. And for the last guest, I have some good options in the land for structures, definitive structures, beautiful places. One of them with view for the lakes and for the sun rising and Monsanto, where the Game of Thrones have make the last season.
Here you go, GOT is back.
Beautiful village. They promoted like the most Portuguese village of Portugal. Um, it it values what it values, but it's not far away from the truth. It's quite beautiful and magical, Monsanto, and we are just 5 kilometers from there. Then let's
So
see.
you're around Monsanto.
Yeah, 5 kilo. I can see it from the farm from different places because it's not a flat ground. It have a valley and a little mountain and some many corners, 6.5 hectares, but full of micro environments where I have designed some
By
ideas.
the way, the Monsanto is actually, it's amazing. It's a village on top of a hill. It's incredibly beautiful. It is actually where the Game of Thrones is filmed. And for
it have
me,
one of the amazing sunsets from I have seen it in different corners on the planet, and the sunset of Monsanto, it's not far away from the most beautiful one.
There is this at the bottom of the hill, there's this amazing massive boulders, like the size of a 3-story house. And I had this feeling sitting on top of this boulder, and you can see like far, far out over the plain. And I felt this connection of the humans that 5,000, 10,000 years ago were sitting on this rock and looking over this landscape. It's really a magical place. All right. Well, thank you. Look forward to seeing you in September. If you have other questions, you have our contacts. And yeah, let's play.
Good to see you.
Wonderful. Wonderful. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody. Yes.
Everyone.
Thank you, guys. I'll get in touch.